Hello everyone, how are you this Friday afternoon UK time? Thank you for joining us here at the TEFL Org for this live question and answer webinar. My name is Carl. I will be your host for the next 50 minutes where I'm going to be mainly talking about how to get started teaching online. However, I am also here to answer any questions you might have about becoming a TEFL teacher. So I would love it if you could put in the comments where you are in the world and what you are looking for from this webinar. Are you looking to get started with teaching? Are you looking for something specific? Just give me some sort of like tips to know what you're up to. And if you've got a question, a specific question, I will get onto it after I have finished the little presentation that I'm going to give. So I can already see some hellos coming in. Hello, Martin. Hello, Delphine. Just thank you very much, everyone, for saying hello and letting me know that you're there. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, Ronnie, are you really in Ballymena? That is just down the road from me. I'm in Bangor. So that's the closest anyone's ever been to me, I think, in Northern Ireland. So I'm in Northern Ireland. I should say who I am. I've been teaching for sort of 20 odd years around the world. I've lived in Vietnam, China, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan. I worked in Iraq for a bit. I was in Vietnam, Japan. Did I say that? Sri Lanka. Worked in China for a bit. I also, pre-COVID, was working as an examiner in Spain and Italy. I also teach online. I do teacher training for TEFL Org. So hopefully we can I can answer any questions you might have. Okay, so let me get started on this presentation that I've got here, which is all about how to get started teaching online. Okay, so first thing I want to ask you guys, and if you could put into the chat, it would be great for us all to know, is what is your experience of teaching online? Do you have any experience, or do you not have, or do you have loads of experience? Or if you haven't, have you studied online? Was it good or bad? The teaching, the studying, was it good or bad? So let me tell you a bit about my experience of teaching online. So basically, I've worked for companies, mainly universities based in the UK teaching online, but I've also worked through having my own website and finding students that way, through recruiting my own students, through marketing myself as an online teacher. And I've also studied online because I did my master's online. So I have experience from both sides of teaching and also from studying. I hope my online teaching was good. It does depend whether I had to work for a company or whether I used my own way of doing things. I found that doing my own way of things was more suitable for me. I guess that's natural. Working for companies, the universities, has been a bit difficult at times in terms of doing exactly how that company wanted me to work. But I hope my students enjoyed it. The studying online has been quite different. I actually really didn't enjoy studying my master's online a lot of the time because it wasn't live. A lot of it was studying on my own and just like sort of chatting in webinars. So I wish now I had had a bit more live discussions. Okay, I can see some lovely comments coming in about teaching online, which is fantastic. Loads of people in Northern Ireland. If you're in Northern Ireland and you're going to do the practical course, you might have me at some point. So good on you. Lisbon, there was another person in Bangor, I think, which is literally where I am. So some people wanting to start teaching online. Hello, Kay. Karen, you want to help yourself to get through to retirement? That's a really nice thing to do. Rafa, you have experience of teaching on Preply and Powerfish. You're an expert, Rafa. Lovely. Rachel, lots of people with no teaching experience online. That's fine. I'm going to get into that and help you a bit. Lots of things there about studying and online as well. So great. We've got lots of experience. So if you've got any comments, please put them in the chat so we know. Okay. Thank you. So first of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about the requirements through teaching online. Now, it kind of does depend whether you're going to work for a company or whether you're going to go set yourself up, okay? So one of the questions that I get asked quite a lot is a degree needed to teach online? So one of the questions we get asked quite a lot online is a degree needed? Do I need a degree? As Neil's just asked there, okay? It's quite a common question. Now, what I would say is for some companies, yes, you will see adverts out there saying a degree is needed. Now, quite often, this is because even though you are working online and you're not physically going to a country, the company might use the visa requirements that are set by the government of that country. So there's lots of countries in Asia where you do need a visa to work. There are also countries in Asia that you don't need a visa to work. So that you don't need a degree to work in. Visas, yes. I had a brain thing there. Degrees I'm talking about. There are some countries in Asia where you do need a degree to work, and there are some countries in Asia where you don't need a degree to work. So that would really affect the companies, because some would say yes, you do need a degree, some would say no, you don't. But I would say, oh, there's a mistake there. I apologize, terrible. I'm going to cross out of my arrow there. Try and find some that don't require this. Now, what I would suggest you to do is to email, if at the moment it's a perfect time because still a lot of classes are online, email companies that are based in Europe and see if they will take you on as an online teacher. So it's not like a big massive company like Powerfish, something like that, but email some language schools and see if they'll take on people without degrees, because quite often they have a bit more flexibility, and quite often the smaller companies don't require people with degrees. Okay, so try and look for that. Okay, do a bit of work yourself and try and find some schools, some little small schools. So for example, you might Google Barcelona language schools. Go in there, contact them, email them. Hello, I'm me. Hello, this is me. This is my information. Do you have any work for me? That might work. Okay. However, quite often all schools will require an accredited 120-hour course. That's quite a big component. So they would expect you to have a TEFL qualification. They would expect you to have an accredited, and accredited is important. So it's a course that is of a high quality, basically. They will expect that. So that is much more important than having a degree in a way. Okay. So definitely what you require. Now, native speaker. This is another thing that people ask me. Can I work online if I'm not a native speaker? Right. Now, so you will see adverts saying native speakers required. If you think you hit all the criteria, apart from that, and you don't see yourself as a native speaker, email the company and ask them, what do they think a native speaker is? Now, they might say something along the lines of, you must have a degree from an English speaking university. They might say you need to have a high school certificate from an English speaking school, something like that. Some companies might say, well, we take people with a very high IELTS grade. We take people with a very high Trinity grade, whatever it might be. So if you think you might hit the criteria, email them. Don't just naturally assume that I'm not a native speaker, so I won't be able to get that job. Check. Okay. If you then think that you're having trouble and you're not finding work because you're a non-native speaker, okay, try and maybe email schools in your country and see if they'll take you on, because quite often they will want local teachers whose first language is the local language to teach the lower levels. That might get you started, that might get you up and running. Okay, maybe start advertising, start finding students who have your own L1, because you might have an advantage of being able to teach some courses in their language as well, sort of a little bit of dual language with it, and try and get them speaking like that. Now, that's just one sort of way around it. My first thing, if you want to go work for a company, is definitely check, what do they think a native speaker is? Okay. Now, right. Next thing that people ask me, and I can see all these lovely questions coming in. I promise you I'm going to get to them, okay, in a second. Is the hardware and software needed to teach online, okay? So if you're going to go work for a school, the schools quite often have different requirements. There's not one sort of way I can say, look, yeah, every language school or every company wants you to have this. They do sometimes have different requirements. So for example, some might say no Apple computers. Might say. Some might say you need to have this software installed. Some will actually make you use their own software. So they might get you to log in through a web browser. Quite often it's a web browser is the way forward, and then they might ask you to use their software through that instead of using like Skype or Zoom or anything like that. So you've got to be quite flexible in terms of the hardware and software that you're going to use. Okay, there's not sort of one special thing. Or they might ask you to use Zoom or Skype, that kind of thing. And again, it does depend on the country that they're coming from, and it does depend on the company, which one they will make you do. So you've sort of got to have some flexibility if you're going to go work for a school in terms of the software mainly that you're going to use. Okay. Now, one of the things that they very often do, all companies, they make you do a internet speed check. So I think if you type into Google internet speed check, it will check your internet speed. Okay. So that is something that they do check for you because they don't want you to have a poor internet connection. So that is something that if you're going to spend a bit of cash, you might want to upgrade your interconnection. Might do some checks, check yourself, see if that hits the requirements. Very often on the adverts for these jobs, they say what the internet speed is needed. So that's the sort of thing you might do. Do not go out there and spend a load of money on new software, on new hardware, new computers in order to get online teaching jobs. You just don't need it, okay? Take your time, see if yours fits the requirements of the companies, okay? Don't go out and just spend a load of money and think that'll help you out. Take your time. What you've probably got, if it's a computer, not a phone or a tablet, is probably enough, okay? Now, if not, you can often get yourself working quite easily and quite cheaply. Now, for example, I'm looking at a desktop computer just there to my left that I've used for 5 or 6 years now. I've not upgraded anything on it. Oh God, I hope it doesn't break right now. I've not upgraded anything on it. Everything has worked fine on it. And I built that myself for about £200, I think, roughly, and it's worked me an absolute treat. Okay, so I would think you don't need to spend a lot of money. Don't go and think, oh, do you know what? I'm going to go buy myself a new Apple Mac. That'll definitely help me out because I don't necessarily will. Now, often, not always, but often the schools will want you to have a computer and not a tablet. Now, some schools don't mind you teaching from a tablet or from mobile phones. I really wouldn't recommend it, but I do know people that do it. But very often they want you to have a Windows PC or they want you to have an app. Well, they don't necessarily want you to have an Apple PC, but they would want you to have some sort of computer like that. All right. Obviously, if you've got an Apple already, you can run Windows on an Apple computer. So that might be something to think about. But very often you don't need to. They don't let you teach from a tablet computer. Okay, so that's something that you need to work out. All right. If you're going to go work for a company, they have different sort of application processes. So every company will have a way of applying for their jobs and a way of getting their jobs that is different, okay, depending on who they are, right? So first thing I would recommend you to do is to Google the company. If you see an advert for them on, like, for example, our website, TEFL.org, you go on there, go on the jobs section, you'll see companies advertising for online teachers. You probably won't be the first person to work for that company. So put into Google, I don't know, Powfish teaching jobs. You'd be surprised how many hits you get, and people will talk about the process that they did in order to get the job. Lots of information there, okay? Do a Facebook search. Quite often there's lots of Facebook discussion groups, including our own one. So you might be looking on this on the TEFL Org page, but we also have a TEFL Org group where you can go in and discuss any sort of teaching questions you might have with other people. I was commenting on some of them in there this week. There's also groups sort of online ESL jobs. There's some groups called online ESL companies, I think it is. Then you'll also find like individual ones for certain companies. Go onto Facebook and Google the company and see what people are talking about in there. Also on YouTube, you'll have people that will talk about how they set themselves up as an online teacher for a company and the sort of application process that was needed. So Facebook, YouTube, Google is your friend. often they do want a 2-minute introduction video. So a school will ask you to prepare a 2-minute introduction video. And you might think, what am I going to talk about for 2 minutes? Oh my word. Okay. What they are mainly doing is checking your accent, the way you talk. They're checking your pronunciation to make sure you don't have too strong a accent where it's maybe difficult for the students to hear you. They're probably also checking your friendliness. They're checking how much do you smile. Have you got a nice, good fake smile? If you've got a lovely fake smile, they'll probably take you on a bit more. If you, hello, I'm Carl and this is me and I want to talk about myself. If you talk like that, you know, are you going to get the students on your side? Are you going to make happy? Probably not. They're probably also checking your appearance. And I hate to say this, but they are probably checking for things like visible tattoos, that sort of thing. They're probably checking that you've put in an effort and weared a nice shirt and probably a tie, gents. They're probably checking that if you're a bloke, you got long hair, for example, your hair's not down in front of your face, that it might be tied up nicely or that kind of thing. They're probably checking those kind of things. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? We could go into a whole essay about that one. We're not going to do that, but that's probably what they're checking. Take it seriously. This 2-minute introduction video, take it seriously. Don't just think that'll do. Watch it back. Check yourself. Listen, do you speak too quickly at some points? Because if you speak too quickly, that's quite difficult for them to understand. Do you talk quite nice at a natural pace? All that kind of thing they will like, okay? Then they'll probably ask you to do a demo lesson. This is quite often where you talk on a webcam to probably a couple of employees for the company on the other side. They'll sit next to each other. You have to try and teach them in 10 minutes, something like that. My advice to you on that is to get them speaking. Don't make it be a lecture. Set them a task, get them speaking, and listen to them. Okay, that's the key thing, is don't make it a 10-minute lecture. Make it a proper English as a foreign language. And try and correct an error. If you hear them make an error, get in there and correct it, okay? And they'll probably even throw you out an error, because part of being a teacher and part of the reason you have been hired is to check errors and correct errors. Okay, good guys. I can see these questions coming in. I promise you I'm going to get to them in a minute. This isn't just going to be about me the whole time. I promise you I'm going to get to these questions. Be nice. Honestly, the amount of demo lessons that I've sort of looked at where people look a bit annoyed, they look a bit angry, they look really, really stressed. You know, is that a good way to learn a language? Shouldn't really need to say it, but honestly, just be nice, be friendly. That's one of the things that they are checking for. Okay, good. I hope that helps you. The other way, if you don't want to go work for a company, is to set yourself up as an online teacher. This is what I do. I recruit my own students through my own website, this kind of thing. All right. One thing I would say to you is setting yourself up and getting a full amount of students where you can earn a full-time living from is not overly easy and will not happen quickly, pardon me. You do not think you are going to be up and running and be full-time within like a month. Now you might be, you might get lucky, you might have the marketing skills of Gary V. Anybody know Gary V? It's a good Instagram page. I like him. You might have these amazing marketing skills, okay? But for me, it took me a long time, probably about a year, to make that my full-time work, okay? So don't think it's going to happen quickly, all right? But long-term, it is the best way. Long-term, the way to have the most control over your teaching life. Long-term, the way to probably have the highest level of happiness and the least level of stress is to set yourself up as an independent online teacher where you find your own students, you teach them your own way, you use your own software, you do everything yourself. You don't have to worry about other companies getting involved. You are the boss, okay? What I would recommend when you start is to do it alongside working for someone else, or do it alongside working for your full-time job. Please, please, please don't think, okay, I'm going to set myself up for sure myself. That's what I'm going to do. You might have loads of money and you can do that. Perfect. But if you don't have loads of money, go work for a company and at the same time develop your website. At the same time, start your Facebook page. At the same time, get all your marketing together. Do it alongside working, okay? Learn some basic digital marketing. Marketing is your most important thing to do. social media marketing, website marketing, email marketing, that kind of thing really pays dividends. You don't get anywhere without your marketing being good, okay? Google has loads of things like that. YouTube has loads of things to help you with basic Google ads, basic Facebook ads, all that kind of thing. Get yourself up and running with that. Okay, get yourself learning that. It's as important as learning how to teach online, in my opinion. Okay, this is for setting yourself up. Going to work for a company, it's different. You don't need to worry about all of this. But if you're going to set yourself up, it's a key point. Okay, now find a niche. A niche is really important. Don't be Carl the English teacher. If you're Carl the English teacher, couple of things. People, it's hard for you to be found on the internet. Students don't tend to Google learn English online. They don't tend to learn improve my English online. What they tend to Google is something like improve my pronunciation online, improve my listening online, this kind of thing. All right. And then even niche, so it might be something along the lines of improve my business English emails online, that kind of thing. That the nichier, and I put nichier in italics because I'm not actually sure it's a word, but the nichier, the better. Okay, the smaller the smaller the amount of things that you teach, the easier your marketing is going to be. Okay, also the less resources you will need, and also the less lesson planning you will have to do. Okay. People always say to me, no, but Carl, you can, if you just say you are Carl the listening teacher, what about the students that want reading? What about the students that want speaking? What about the students that want business English, Carl? This is not going to work. Trust me, the smaller your niche, the easier it will be for you long time. Okay? Good. My top tips, then I'm going to get to all of these questions. This will be repeated. You'll be able to watch this video again on the YouTube page. You'll be able to watch it again on the Facebook page. And you are going to be able to, and you'll be able to watch it again if you do need to. Okay. Try and get some experience teaching online when you might not necessarily be paid. So what ways of doing this is to find in Facebook groups, people learn. So you might find like a Learning English Facebook group. Get yourself in there and just say, hi, I want to give a free 20-minute lesson, something like that. Just take the pressure off you, get that little bit of experience going. The students maybe don't expect too much. You don't expect too much, but you've sort of broken the stress and the shyness of doing your first lesson, you know, and you sort of gives yourself a bit more confidence. Loads of groups like that. Also, see if there's some people local to you that might do that. Okay, try and get some free volunteer experience. That's what I would recommend for you to start. Think of finding different ways to make money as a teacher. Don't think I'm only going to teach online. Don't close the idea of also teaching face-to-face, depending on COVID, of course, because you'll be surprised around you, wherever you are in the world, that there are probably language schools teaching English. I hardly ever go to any country or any town or city where they don't have a language school. So think, can I teach online for a company? Can I also be setting myself up as my own website? Can I also go and teach for a local school? Find different ways. Okay. If you're going to set yourself up as an independent teacher, be prepared for time wasters at the start. Be very aware that you're going to get people emailing you. You're going to get people contacting you who want to have lessons for free or who don't want to pay your hourly rate. You will get time wasters. And one of the ways I root out the time wasters is I don't offer free trial lessons. I offer a paid £1 trial lesson. So because you'd be surprised how much someone paying £1 will put them off being a time waster. Okay. The other thing as well is have a good website where you have all of your information clearly written. So if someone asks you 100 questions, instead of getting to question number 20 and they're still asking you questions, you can just send a link to your frequently asked questions, that kind of thing. That'll get rid of the time wasters a little bit. Okay. And my final tip, whether you're working for a company or whether you're working for yourself, is give the students or parents what they want. If they want pronunciation, give them loads and loads of pronunciation. All right. If they want lots of writing practice, give them lots of writing practice, especially at the start, to get them happy, to keep them happy. Okay. Now you might then sort of veer off and start giving them what you think they need, but definitely at the start, give them what they want. Give the parents and give the students what they want so they are happy and that they will keep coming back. Okay, I'm going to get around to some questions now. Thank you very much. Alan. Hello. Sorry about that. I just lost it then. Sorry. Am I back? Am I back? I think I'm back. Alan, let me know I'm back. I'm pretty sure I'm back. Yes, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened there. It got a bit confused there. Yeah, I'm back. Good. I'm really sorry about that. Just lost. It wasn't my internet connection. It wasn't my computer. It was my stupidity. These things happen. Sorry about that. Yeah, so let me get through to some of these questions. Thank you for staying with me through all of that. I'm just going to scroll back through all the chat. I love how you all got involved telling each other your experience. Thank you very much. It's really good for you guys to have done that. It's really helpful for people to know this. Okay, so let's get to the first question. Lots of Belfast people. Look at that. Turtle, 4:02 p.m. Hello, sorry to go back that one. Turtle Aga. Hi, Carl. You've signed up to start the TEFL course. Good. I'm glad you have. And want to find out more about how you can start finding work after I finish the course. Interesting. So once you've finished the course, that's a key thing, Turtle. The first thing that I would recommend is for you to go, if you're with us at the TEFL Org, is definitely to go to our website and if you go to tefl.org, okay, if you go to tefl.org and you click on TEFL jobs here at the top, okay, if you go to tefl.org, if you click on TEFL jobs here at the top, you click on that, then you'll see some jobs listed down here. For example, teach English online to Latino children. Brilliant. Online teacher here, part-time. You click on it, you view job. You check what they want to do, what they want you to do. They will give you this information or this thing, and they'll tell you how to apply. You have to log in, all that kind of thing. All right. That's the first thing that you need to do. Okay, is go onto our website and look for a job that suits you and is good for you, and then apply. Basically, we've also got things on our blog page to help you with applying for your first job. Okay, so that's it. Just jump into it. So maybe take it step by step. Apply for one, think about the application, wait a couple of days, see if that works for you, and then apply for more. Don't necessarily be worried if the first one rejects you. Keep looking. You'll definitely find something, okay? That one I just saw wanted 100 people. Plenty of people. Hello. Valentina, hello. You're in London. You've already started teaching English online, but you want to open an online school of languages. If I could advise on this. Thank you very much, Valentina. Okay, right. Online school of languages. So you'd wanting to teach, right, the first thing is, I don't know, Valentina, do you want to teach all of these languages yourself, or do you want other people to come work for you? That's other people coming to work for you is a different proposition altogether. What I would recommend for you to do is to just get yourself up and running first, okay, and get a niche in terms of being Valentina I don't know where you're from, maybe let's say you're Italian, the Italian intermediate teacher, something like that. Then get yourself up and running that, try and find students that way, okay. I think opening an online school for lots of different languages will cost you a lot in marketing and will be quite difficult to do. So what I would do is I would add as you go, if that makes sense, Valentina. I hope that works out for you. I've had dreams of doing that and I found it difficult. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Hello from my beef. Look, all this. Let me find the next question. Good. People are, hopefully I've helped you with our online teaching and sort of the basics so far. Good. A lot of people wanting to start up themselves. Okay, that's fine. We have done videos about how to set yourself up as an independent teacher before, so I didn't go into huge detail, but if you go back and look on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, you will find the videos from sort of probably, I don't know, Alan, was it like last July, last August, around that time, I don't know, where we did videos about that kind of thing. So that might be something that's worth looking back on. Okay, and good. Renate, hello. Hello from Panama. Any websites to register to start teaching or tutoring online? So I think the first place to look is sort of the job websites, Renate. So look on ours, as I said, TEFL.org. See if there's one that you fancy, that you like on that one. There's none on our website, and I can't see why there wouldn't be. You could go to somewhere like eslcafe.com. That's another good website, eslcafe.com. Don't worry about you having an EFL certificate and seeing an ESL, basically the same thing. Okay, so don't worry about that. If you've got a TEFL certificate, it very often works with ESL jobs as well. Okay, so go there, find a job that you like, go from that one. If that then you still not found any on those two big websites, then I would start to look at websites such as Guardian, TEFL jobs. You could also look at a website called Indeed, Indeed. There's usually online jobs on there. There's also jobs quite often advertised on Gumtree. So you don't need to sort of register. What you need to do is sort of find a job that you like the look of, an advert, and then apply that way. Okay, good. People telling stories about teaching online. I'm seeing lots of things like it was a disaster at the beginning, but got used to it. Interesting. Please, any experience you have, that's fantastic. Good. Let me keep. Eve, hello. Eve Thickens, hello. I hope I pronounced that right. You would like advice on which companies are best to get started with or work for? Well, I think the best companies are probably, first of all, the ones that are advertising, because, you know, companies, they tend to want lots of people, sort of, they recruit quite a few people at one time, then you might not hear from them for a few months, then you might go again. I mean, recently we've had EF do a webinar with us, which I think worked really well, and I know quite a few people that have gone and started working for EF. And I'm quite happy working for them. That's the sort of thing. Powerfish is another one that people like. But really, Eve, sort of look on the Facebook groups and like our TEFL Org group. Get in there and say, look, I've seen this advert for blah, blah, blah. Has anybody worked for them? You'd be surprised how many people get involved and try and help you and give you some advice, okay? Don't just listen to the negative side of things. Teachers love complaining. Also look for the positive side of things as well. Okay, don't be put off by one or two negative comments. Look at it as a broader thing, okay? And also look if they've been in business for a while. If they've been in business for a while, they're probably a good company, okay? Lovely, good. Renate, again, hello. You have a Bachelor in Finance and a Master's in Marketing. Wow, I would set myself up as a business English teacher if I was you. But you found that you like teaching both English and Spanish. Do you need a degree in teaching? No, you don't. You just need a degree in anything. You know, a degree in science quite often works. So don't think that you need to have a specific degree in teaching in order to fit the criteria of having a degree. It can be a degree in anything. All right. Good luck with that. I hope it works out. But I would definitely look about setting myself up as a business English teacher if I had those qualifications. Michelle, is that a question? Yes. Hello. You have a degree in English literature from 25 years ago. Interested in teaching online. Would it be a problem that my degree is? Nope. My degree is now, how many years? 20 years? Something like that. Yeah. So No, I never ever get told that my degree is too old at all. I had to really think then about how old my degree was, and it's made me feel old. No, not a problem at all. That's a nice, easy one. I don't know why I spent so long answering that one, Michelle. Good for you. Get involved. Alex, how often does a company accept someone with only TEFL certificates and no degree? Is it a common thing? As I've had a few saying I need a degree and rejecting me. I fitted every other requirement, including native speaker. Well, Alex, if that's what they say, if that's what the company's saying, then they might have to stick to that because of the visa rules. They might have to stick to that because of the requirements of their students. The students might want their teachers to have a degree. Okay, rightly or wrongly, I don't know, but that's the rule. So what I would look for you, if I was you, Alex, is I would look at countries where you don't need a degree in order to get a work visa so much. Okay, so look for Spain, look at Italy. Email the companies. Do the legwork. Go to the companies instead of looking at our websites and if you're not seeing ones that you fit, then start emailing companies, emailing language schools individually. Okay. Good. Do I recommend a good internet speed checker? I just use the one that Google uses. Just if you do google.com internet speed check, they tell me one, that's fine. But if not, probably the first hit that isn't a paid ad would work for you, Nicole. There you go. There's people giving you advice on how to check your speed. There we go. Oliver, hello. How possible is it to find a part-time online teaching job while studying for a master's if you're already... I think that's pretty possible indeed. It depends on the time difference wherever you are in the world, Oliver, whether that's going to make a difference to you studying for a master's. But I think it's definitely possible, and I think it's probably a really good thing to do alongside studying for a master's. However, of course, if you've got to go to lectures and those lectures are at a certain time with the peak periods in Asia, can be a difficult situation. Okay, so that might be something for you to look at. If you have flexibility in your master's, I'm really sure you could fit in studying online whilst or studying flexibly while also having a TEFL job. I think that's a really good thing to do. Okay. To Rain, hello. Your first degree is in English. Congratulations. You're attending the 120 hours teacher preparation course. You want to attend a master's or graduate diploma. Please suggest. Right, the first thing I would say to you two is I don't know why you want to do a master's straight away. I mean, you might want to just do one of our level 5 courses if that's the way that has a really sort of high level of it's seen as quite high level in terms of the companies that accept it. So that might be something that you want to do. So look on our website, go to the types of courses we do and look for the level 5 course. That might be something that you do. I wouldn't necessarily, if you want to go and do a master's in teaching English as a foreign language, that probably means you want to go work for a university full time somewhere in the world. Fantastic. But look for jobs, the sort of jobs that you want. So you're looking for higher paid TEFL jobs. So look for things like, if you go onto like a company like Barleap, BALEAP, that is like an academic English website, and on there are higher paid jobs. See if you fit the criteria of those ones, okay? Because they do quite often want quite a high level of qualifications. BALEAP, all right? So look at that. That's the sort of any advice I want to give you through, unless I know more information about you, okay, and what you kind of wanted. Put it in the chat, and we'll get to it within the next 15 minutes. Stevie Jade BB, hello. Would be good to have some signposting to resources to set yourself up as an independent tutor. You said there's lots out there, but where? And I like the eyes. Ooh. Right. Well, Google. So it depends on your niche for a start. So if let's say you're going to teach business English presentation skills. That's what you would have to type into Google, and you would see what comes up there. All right. If you're then looking for, so really it's the niche. The Google search for your niche is important. I can't really give you one website that would do everything. But if you're looking for good general English resources, some of the ones I like are onestopenglish.com. The British Council website is good. We also have resources on our TEFL Org website. That might be something that you want to look at. What else is good? And it depends on the levels. Off to Class, and I think the 2 is like a number 2, is also a good one. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. They are websites that you might like doing. Okay. Good. Niche is a word, is it, Amanda? Thank you very much for correcting my grammar. Well, you didn't correct my grammar. You gave me praise of my grammar. Many thanks. But please don't notice the spelling, the grammar mistake I made in like the 3rd slide. Nicole, hello. Do I get bored niche teaching? No. Quite simply, I don't. I choose a niche that I quite enjoy teaching. That's an important part of it. And if you get one that you like and you get one that you enjoy, then you will like it. It's quite simple, okay? And try and get one where you think you're gonna get some added benefit out of, okay? So like, do you get a kick out of people having perfect pronunciation? Start going down that way. Would you get a kick out of helping someone to pass a specific test? Go down that one. I've never got bored teaching my niche, okay? Hugh, hello. Very nice name, Hugh. When will face-to-face teaching abroad in Asia resume? No idea. Any likely time frame? Well, I know friends of mine who teach in Japan that have gone back to teach this week. They're not overly happy about it, though, to be honest with you. They would rather stay online. So it does. I think it's different. I know people that have recently gone out to China and started working out there, working face to face. It's all fine. So I think it does depend where you want to go and the COVID situation then and sort of when. I would, if you're ready to go now, start applying now. I think you'd be surprised that there are people recruiting right now. Okay. Nicole, how do I manage my time frame when you have 2 or more ESL jobs, especially new teacher, it takes you a while to plan? Well, obviously, like any sort of good time management, having a good online calendar, not taking on too much too early, I would say, Nicole. I think if you're doing too much too quickly, then it's going to be difficult. So try and ease your way into it. Okay. The other thing as well is finding companies that might give you the lesson plans that they want you to stick to. If they do that, then that takes away the burden that you have on preparing lessons. Okay. Good luck with that. But I don't think it's sort of any different from managing your time in any other ways. Okay. Good. Thank you everybody for saying that I'm back. Mudra, hello. How do you gain confidence when starting to teach English? You feel lost as where to start. So I think, Mudra, the first way to try and get confidence is, sort of start thinking about teaching online as volunteer jobs. Maybe start teaching your friends, Mudra. Try and teach people local in the local area to you. Go online, go onto Facebook groups and try and find students that might want to have a little 20-minute lesson where you start teaching online, all that kind of thing. Ease yourself into it. Find low pressure teaching where they haven't paid you any money. They're not expecting too much. You know you're new to it. Because they haven't paid you any money, you don't feel so much pressure. Get yourself easing your way into it that way if you want to measure. Okay. Tori, again, the questions about the companies, I think, again, go onto our groups, the TEFL Org Facebook group. Put in there, hello, that you're new to online teaching, any good companies. I think EF is quite a good one to get yourself up and running, really. Somewhere quite, probably like that. I think anyone that would accept newly qualified teachers is going to be quite structured. They're not going to expect too much from you, Tori, okay? So if you see something like no experience needed, that sounds like the sort of thing that you need that would be good for you, okay? Katja, I don't know your comment about the Facebook one. Please put that in there so I can answer it for you. Alex, hello again. Have you heard of any language schools that have hired teachers just by emailing them? They don't have any vacancies at the time. Yep. I know people that have. For example, this morning I was working in Spain online. The town I was in, I've visited there. I've worked there before. I know has 12 different language schools. That's one town, and They're not a very well-known town in Spain. So it's not a big city. They have 12 language schools. They were teaching fully online. They would definitely take people on. I get schools asking me all the time, sort of, do I know any online teachers, that kind of thing. Definitely. There are hundreds of language schools in, most big cities. Okay. You'd be surprised just how many there are. Towns like Rome, Madrid, Barcelona, even towns like Japan, all that kind of thing, emailing them directly. Takes time, Alex, but you'll get there. Okay. Ronnie, you've not had any response yet. Well, again, it takes time. I don't know when you did that, Ronnie, but schools they're not going to get back to you within 48 hours. They're probably going to take a week to process it, all that kind of thing. Take your time, Ronnie. Okay. Good. Thank you. Jamie, what is the best tool for assessing a student's language level? That's an interesting question. I don't know if there is a tool. Is there? I mean, like, are you looking for some software or something like that? I don't know of any, Jamie. If anybody else knows of any specific software, please let me know. What you need to do, Jamie, is Google your placement test EFL. And then, if you're going to do business English, placement test, business English, something like that. Placement test, general English, whatever it might be. And then you'll find people. So what you tend to offer is things like, what they tend to do is you start with quite basic questions. What's your name? What's your favorite color? What's your hobbies? And then the questions get more difficult that you'll find online until they get to things like, what would you do to improve crime in your country? What would you do to improve the education system? And once the student gets to a level where they can't really answer the question, that tends to be, and then it will say alongside, right, they've answered these 10 questions. Now they can't answer that one. Beginner level, elementary level, whatever it might be. So that's what you need to do, Jamie, is Google placement tests. Okay. But then, of course, there's writing placement tests, and there are reading placement tests, and there are listening placement tests. But quite often, schools just use spoken ones. Okay. Katja, hello. We found your question. Thank you, Alan. You're a hero. You're a German citizen and have not studied at university. You're in the process of studying the 136-hour TEFL course. Good, the high-level one. You've got a current right sermon. What chance do I have to find good online work? You've got a C1 qualification, so you've got a high level. I think you have a good chance, Katja, for sure. Have you tried language schools in Europe? If you've got an EU passport, Holy Grail, you can go work anywhere. I think you could definitely go and work for some schools that might be teaching online. Of course, you don't have a degree, so you are going to be let down by some adverts where, like Alex said earlier in the chat, where they definitely want a degree, but there's definitely work out there for people without degrees, as long as you put in the legwork and you keep putting yourself out there. I also think that you would, with that level of qualification and that level of English, you'd be able to set yourself up online as a good language teacher and finding your own students. Okay, I really think that would help you. Hope that answers your question, Katja. Right, where did I get to on the questions? Done those ones. Alan, have you seen a question I haven't? Thank you. Rachel, you have no previous teaching experience. Would doing a practicum course help for? Yes, for sure. So we offer here at the TEFL Org, we offer practical elements on top of the theory courses where you would spend the weekend with someone like me in a face-to-face location. We are currently doing them in Northern Ireland, COVID dependent, or you can do them online and do a practicum course with someone like me or someone else, highly qualified TEFL tutors that have been doing it for a long time. And you would, first of all, you get to ask any questions you have. But secondly, you actually get to deliver a practical class and get feedback from a tutor. And then you can then put that into your job applications. I have also completed a practical course where I got feedback from Carl, a TEFL Org tutor. And he said, I did this well, I did this badly. So you know that you need to work, what you need to work on definitely will make you stand out in terms of the application process, Rachel. I would recommend it. The other good thing about it is it takes away a lot of the nerves because you will be teaching someone like doing a practice lesson with someone like me doesn't really make a difference if you make a huge number of mistakes. Okay. Choice, I think I've answered your questions. Rafet, where would you start to open your own company? You start by finding your niche, then you buy your website, and then you start the marketing, all that kind of thing. But the first thing you need to do is find out what you want to teach, Rafet, and then see if you can get a web page that works for that one. Right. There we go. I'm guessing you want an English teaching company and not like a ice cream company or something like that. Danielle, hello. You've currently got a degree in English language and 180-hour TEFL. You want to teach TEFL in the UK. Right. So, yeah, I think what you need to... And then you carry on a bit, getting a full-time income. Listen, it is realistic to get a full-time income. It depends how much you want the full-time income to be, Danielle. I find that I make as much working practically for a local language school as I do online in the UK. It's not true around the world, but that's definitely true, I think, generally in the UK. So it does depend on you, Daniel, what your rate of pay. You will find quite often that the hourly rate of pay online might not be as much as you can get at a local language school in the UK. So again, don't think about having one stream of income. See if you can get some income from face-to-face teaching and some income from teaching online. Okay. Tamara, you're nervous about teaching online. Well, then definitely go and do something like a practicum course where you can ask the questions and actually get teaching with someone like me, getting the advice, and actually get yourself teaching. That would get rid of a lot of the nerves for you. The theory is really not that much difference. Is really not that much different from the theory of being in the language and being in the classroom. What's different is how you deliver it. Okay. Nicole, how to create your own material for classes if you are new to teaching. Interesting one, that one. Okay. Right. Well, first of all, it depends on the needs of your students and depends on your needs analysis. What you need to do is make sure that you keep to if it's a grammar lesson, you're keeping to the PPP grammar structure. We did a video on that a couple of weeks ago, and you make sure that you fit that structure. Okay. Finding materials is quite often the most difficult part. So look at things like the BBC website, look at YouTube, look at TED Talks, this kind of thing. See if you can get some materials from that. Also look at things like One Stop English, that kind of thing. It's difficult. It takes time at the start, but you can definitely find things online, or you can get inspiration from lesson plans online. You'll find that there are definitely lesson plans online that will help you. Okay. Katya, I think I answered your question. I hope I answered your question. Christina, are there any manuals we can follow to provide structure? Well, Christina, have you got a TEFL qualification? Have you got an EFL qualification? That's the best way. As long as you've got the EFL qualification, then that's the sort of a manual. That's what you need. I don't. Christina, give me more information. I'm not quite sure what you mean there. Okay. I've recommended some online resources, an online teaching curriculum, Elizabeth. That's slightly different. So, right, an online curriculum does depend on the type of students that you're doing and what their ultimate goal is, because the curriculum should fit what the ultimate goal is of the course. How I get my curriculums is I look at very well-known textbooks for the level that I'm working at, and I see what has that textbook author put in the introduction in the index, and that quite often is what I use to follow as a curriculum. Okay, that makes sense, Elizabeth? I hope it does. Ronnie, I don't think your age of 52 should go against you. I think, Ronnie, maybe the way you're applying, are you definitely fit in a good general application? Loads of things online about how to have a good CV, that kind of thing. Okay. I hope that I wouldn't. Your age isn't going to be the problem there, Ronnie. Definitely not. John, where can you find the sources for TEFL course online? Again, I'm not really sure what you mean there, but Our website, tefl.org, we have TEFL courses. Definitely go on there. Does that help you? Again, John, I need more information than that. Sorry. Next question. Karen, hello. Do I think having a degree in reading... Can you do degrees in reading? That's interesting. A teacher for 25 years in public in USA plus teaching remotely through the pandemic will be helpful. Helpful for many things. And let's get vaccinated. I agree, Karen. I got my second vaccination this week. You sound like a perfect person that could get yourself teaching either remotely yourself, your own business, bit of marketing experience, you can get yourself in there, or definitely through companies I'm sure will have you, but you would definitely need to have a TEFL qualification, Karen. So that might be something that you need to do. Okay. Yep, Stevie Jade. Yep, medical English could be your niche. Not a huge market for it. There is a test called the OET test. Look into that, Stevie Jade. Okay. Ronnie, I really think you could get some work. I message the page. If you're really having trouble, Ronnie, message the page with more information on Facebook. Get onto the TEFL Org page, send a message, and I'll see if I can help you out. Because with that level of qualifications, Ronnie, you should definitely be getting work. Let me keep going on. I'm going to finish in about 4 or 5 minutes. You're thinking of changing your degree. Would English and linguistics be desirable for certain teaching companies? No, I don't need to change your degree. Don't go out and get another degree, Kay. Stick to the degree you've got already. You don't need 2 degrees. No way. Joe, you're looking to become an online proofreader. I've done a bit of that, but I don't really enjoy it, so I don't really know much about it. You could. What you might want to do is start. I would say, see if you can get teaching academic English. So you help the students with their academic English. You teach that, and then once they finish that course with you and they've started writing their own essays, can you then get money out of them through proofreading? Maybe, Joe. That's what I do. But if not, I would probably set myself up as 2 different. I would set myself up with 2 different websites there. I was in Castro. I was in Elche, Elche. Definitely language schools there. See, look, there's people there saying they put adverts. Brilliant. Ronnie, the next 20-hour classroom course in Belfast. I'm not quite sure when it is. Go on our website, tefl.org. We'll tell you. Miro, hello. You're yet to watch my English teaching in Japan. Why haven't you watched that, Miro? You need to watch that straight away. Watch that before you go to bed tonight. Do I have any tips or warnings for people who are looking to set up in Japan? So by set up, do you mean find Japanese students? That's quite difficult to do, Miro. Why? Because there's a lot of people already in Japan. I started going after Japanese students when I first started with my niche, finding students, and it was difficult. They're not the easiest to get at, but once you do get them, they do pay quite well. Tips is just throw yourself into it. Be prepared to work quite hard, because they will work you a lot harder in Japan than they do in other countries. That's what I would say. Okay. Website providers, whatever's cheapest, Stevie Jade, whatever you find cheapest, and read the small print and like what's going to happen after they've got you in and you've paid 99p for a year, for example. What happens in the years after? Be prepared to move it around. It is a crowded market, but there's more competition. Okay. I've used and then what I would then say is make sure that they have WordPress. You can use WordPress, because that is the best way to create a website, I think. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Let me see if I missed any questions. I think we're going to be finishing soon. Heidi, adults, you're looking to get adult students. Again, you've got to just keep looking at adverts you'll see adverts for adults. You will see adverts where they say you come teach adults. However, a lot of online teaching is teaching kids. It is a big part of online teaching. So, but Heidi, just keep looking at adverts till you see one that's advertised. Okay. Sophie, I'm not really sure what you are saying there about. Could I tell you about Are You Talking? I'm sorry. Good. And then lots of people chatting to themselves, which is lovely. Practice speaking English is in Bangor. I'm in Bangor as well. Right. Sophie, hello. How many activities should teachers do online plan to be lesson interesting for students, Sophie? It depends on the length of time of the lesson, and depends on the level of the students, and depends on the age of the students. The younger, the more activities. The lower the level, generally the more activities. The older and the higher the level, the less activities generally. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Good, everybody. I think that's it. Neil, sorry, last question. Is there an element of face-to-face support with the online-only course? I like this webinar and video activities. Yeah, Neil, there is. Yeah, if you come and do one of the courses with us, you will have a tutor and you'll get feedback from a tutor, if that's what you mean, Neil. There isn't, Alan, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there is live online tutor sessions like this. A lot of it is you watch videos and then you would have email contact with a tutor, that kind of thing. What you might want to do, that's on the 120-hour course, Neil. What you might want to do if you do want something like this is to then do like a weekend course on top of it. Like, so for example, I do the virtual online courses. So that is, you know, that's the practicum course basically, where you would do sort of a practical side element with it as well, either face-to-face in a building, if that's allowed, or we do it online through Zoom. Okay, Neil. All of this stuff is on our website, tefl.org. Thank you, everybody. If you did like this video, please like it. Give us a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, please put in the chat and say why you didn't like it. Let us know, okay? Thank you very much. Any questions you might have about anything else, you can go on our website, tefl.org. There's a chat with us function in the bottom right corner. You can send us a message on the Facebook page. You can write in the YouTube comments, all that kind of thing. We're here. We love hearing from you. Thank you very much. I really have had a great life out of TEFL, and I still do, and I think it will be my life forever. So I really recommend, if you are thinking about doing it, go onto our website, tefl.org, look at the courses, look at what needs to be done, and take that leap. You won't regret it, I'm sure. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye.